What's up? What's up?
Hello,
How
hello,
you doing?
everyone.
How you doing? It's not. It's a special day. It's just Sunday. It's a good old Sunday. Sunday right before we go back to City Hall committee meeting. All that good stuff. How's everybody doing, Miss Jessica?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm,
All right.
I'm good. I'm good.
What's up, Danny? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
What's up, Dave? How you doing?
What's going on? All is well. All praise due to the Most High.
Amen.
Okay. All right. So today it says three. I always say it's three sides to a story, but this is a side that I've been wanting to know and understand for a long time. The truth behind the Regal Theater, or was it Regal Avalon Theater? Is that what they call it now? And the history behind it. We have the the current owner that's live with us today as well. How you doing, Mr. Gary? How you doing? Glad to see ya.
Hey. Good to see you.
Right. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I have a little bit of history about the Avalon Theater. I don't know if you would like me to talk about that first before we get into.
Well, let him introduce himself to the audience.
Okay. All right, you do the honors. Well, I was gonna do it. Okay, ready? You want to introduce yourself, or
We can't hear him.
Right.
can't hear you? Your mic is on. Oh, he's talking?
I think so.
Yeah, let me let him know.
Yeah, he's talking, but we just can't hear him.
Okay.
Can you tell him to say something? He can't.
Yeah, his mic.
Okay,
He left, came back because he gonna come back on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. Well, maybe you can tell the audience what the show is going to be about today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, the show is going to be about what's the real story behind the Regal Theater and why is it not open and what's going on, and we have a current owner that's going to be with us, and he's going to tell us. Is he on here? Are you here?
No.
Say add to the stage.
She added.
Yeah, he went out and then he's back. All right, got it right now. All right. Say something. Say hello. You hear us? He still can't hear us. You have it on. Is it on mute?
It's not on mute. So when he came out and it came in, did it give him an option? Ask him, did it give him an option to say mic on or something like that? Did that give him an option?
Oh,
He said, yeah.
Yeah, they give you an option. You got the volume up?
Okay. And when it gave you the option, you said yes. You said okay to it. And it's not allowed it.
Yeah, damn. All right. This is not
so
only can he do it from his phone.
Yeah, tell him try from his phone.
Can you try from your phone? Can you hear us?
He can hear us, we just can't hear him.
Mm-hmm. Is it a play thing? Is it a play? Do you see?
There's him right here. Hello?
I know sometimes it be having that. I had to push the phone to let it play, like a record little thing in, and I gotta hit it on the screen.
Mm.
That's what I'll be having to do with mine. Like it, before I can
He
talk.
said you're gonna try again, but if not, we could do maybe a phone call.
Yeah, maybe on his phone.
And he can hear.
Mm-hmm.
But he won't be able to show his documents. If
Maybe
he's on a phone call, he won't be able to show his documents.
Now, if he stays on here, his camera, and then maybe you can hear. I don't know. Well, we tried, and it was working. We tried.
Oh, when y'all tried earlier and everything was working good, he was able to get on?
Yeah.
What is he using? His laptop?
Yeah.
Probably tell him to shut it down and power it back on. Or close out the website. If he's on the website, probably tell him to close out the browser and open it back up.
Yeah, because that's... And if he can't, or if he can, just use his phone. And then if he can't, and then if he on his phone, he might just have to take the documents and just hold it. If he don't have it in his hand, maybe he don't have it in his hand.
We're gonna try. This is our. You hear us? You hear me? I still don't hear him. I can put him up here, but I still don't hear him.
You still don't hear him? Let me see.
You have to add me.
Okay.
Oh, we can hear him now.
All right.
Okay.
We're good now. All right.
All right. Take two.
Whew. Lord. I know people was clutching their pearls.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. They're not.
Okay. Let's start over. All right. This is usually my Sundays that I do my recaps of everything that's going on, from public corruption to the Disgrace 50 to Chicago just is out of control to what is going on. We're losing our landmarks. We're losing our history. We're losing our culture. And one of the things that I have seen in this fight is the Regal Theater, and it's not open. It's a landmark. It's history. I think everybody knows about the Regal Theater all over, like Miss Jackson calls it, Chicago's version of the Apollo Theater. Like, why is it not open? This is the current owner. I mean, you got lawsuits. I need to know what is going on. Why is the Regal Theater not open? Why are they playing with you?
Well, that's a very complicated answer. And I just like to say that there seems to always be efforts against people like us who try to coalesce and form coalitions, and instead of going against each other. And my goal has always been for the building to really be a beacon of hope for people in the community who were already doing things in the community in terms of cultural enrichment, and be able to actually use the venue to help expand their patron base and help expand their artistic practice to the neighborhood. But that kind of altruistic message doesn't really mesh well with the political environment and fabric that exists in Chicago right now. But I think that we are getting to a point where there's a little bit of a groundswell. People asking those same questions, like, well, why isn't the theater open? Why aren't they getting that support that they need from the city?
Before you go further, maybe you could tell the audience, we assume that everybody knows where the Regal Theater is, but maybe if you can tell the audience where it is, where the Regal Theater is, and why you found it to be important to preserve the building.
Of course. Well, the Regal Theater resides at one of the largest junctions on the South Side if not the entire city. In fact, there's the Chicago Skyway coming down there from Indiana. So there's intercommerce between the states. There's also Stony Island, as well as South Chicago, 79th Street, but they all intersect at that juncture. And it's actually a nightmare logistically. We'll have to work with IDOT in the city to get that together once we have so much traffic flow coming and going because of the productions at the building. But it's a very large intersection. It's very prominent, and it is the only building of its kind really in that area, really on the entire south side of the city. It's technically the Avalon Park / South Shore community, and it sits right there at 79th and East End.
So what made you, like she said, what made you want to purchase and buy the Regal? Could you tell us how all that came about?
Absolutely. So I was actually already a real estate investor, and got an email from a family member that the theater was being sold by the FDIC. I was in the middle of setting up my first investment fund to invest in affordable housing, basically consolidating portfolios of 2 and 3 flats in the Chatham neighborhoods and parceling those off to investors who wanted to participate in that kind of investment activity, but didn't really have the acumen to do so. So I started a private equity fund to do that. In the middle of doing that, opportunity came up to really integrate that residential investment strategy with a commercial investment strategy that could create jobs and sustain people's ability to live in and afford the housing that hopefully they would eventually end up owning, either as an owner or an investor. And my goal really buying the theater wasn't just to propagate music education, because I've got a music education background. I was part of Gallery 37, there at School of Music, and Hyde Park UTLifestyle. I could keep going. But the secret sauce is really the economics that the building brings into the neighborhood in terms of training people, not just how to perform on stage, but how to be behind the camera and behind the curtain.
Are you guys hearing him well? Like a
Yeah,
little feedback?
Yeah.
I'm hearing feedback, so that's why.
I'm hearing a little blinking in and out. I was getting ready to say that. It needs to be a little bit clearer.
Let me see.
Ask them, are they hearing that? Can they hear?
Yeah, it said a little bit of feedback.
Okay, it's that because it's not really clear.
That's the only thing. But I hear it, but it's just going like in and out a little bit. So.
Yeah, it's not clear.
It's better.
You say what? Speak again.
Is this better?
It's still doing it. Is it like another device on? Did you have something else on? It's just your computer.
I'm not sure what's going on. Let me check here.
They said when you do live stream, it's best to mute everyone that is not speaking. And I don't think that.
But I don't even.
All right.
Hold on. I'm gonna get a headset.
Okay, let's try that.
Okay, well, he's gonna get the headset, and I'm going to speak briefly about the Avalon Theater, how it originated, and all of those things. Okay. All right. The Avalon Theater, which originally operated as a movie theater from 1935 until its closure in 1967, underwent several transformations over the years. After the theater closed, it was sold in 1970 and briefly served as the Miracle Temple Church and a community meeting space for 14 years. In 1985, the building was acquired by Edward and Betty Ann Gardner, the founders of Soft Sheen Products. The Gardners renovated the theater and reopened it in 1987, renaming it the New Regal Theater in honor of the original Regal Theater in Bronzeville, a cultural hub for Chicago's African-American community. From the 1920s until 1971, the theater received a $1 million grant from the Illinois Development Action Grant Program in May 1987 as part of the broader $4.1 million funding package under Mayor Harold Washington's administration. In June 1992, the theater was granted Chicago's landmark status. However, after 18 years of operation, the Gardeners closed the theater in June 2003 due to low attendance and the high operational costs of maintaining the building.
Mm.
Okay, that that landmark status, shouldn't that be able to get some type of whatever about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's why they can't really demolish it like they really want to do, because
Because of
it's
the
still
landmark
Chicago
status.
landmark status. That's
Is
what's
this
saving
better?
it.
Mm.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then in 2008, Regina Evans, the police chief of Country Club Hills, Illinois, purchased the theater with plans to revitalize it as a cultural venue. Evans secured a $1.25 million state loan for renovations, but used the funds for personal expenses.
Mm.
Despite this, the site held a party in celebration of Barack Obama's presidential nomination acceptance speech in August 2008. In 2011, the theater was foreclosed upon and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, took ownership. And then it goes on to my man.
Mm. Mm.
I've got my headset plugged in now.
Okay.
Oh, that's
yeah.
perfect. That's
Perfect. Sounds
It's
good.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went
That
here
sounds
and got
better.
serious headphones here. So I hope that's a little better.
It's much better.
Okay, great. All right, terrific. Well, thank you for that.
Even
I was able to.
audience is saying much better.
Okay, terrific. All right, very good. Sorry about that, everyone. Can you believe it? I own a theater. I can't get my audio together. About
It's cool.
So yeah, that's a very good rendition of the saga of the Regal. It's a unique venue because with 2,500 seats, it's considered a mid-sized venue, but entertainment is such that it's not like it was in the 90s. You're not paying as much as you used to for artists, touring artists, and it's more of an independent kind of venue. So, we'll be looking to do shows with folks like Ladisi, like Joe Scott, D'Angelo, De La Soul, that kind of stuff. We'll have some stuff for the younger kids in there, obviously. But the real goal is to create apprenticeships and make the building available, not just from a construction perspective. Obviously, there's going to be an opportunity for folks to work in the various trades that we're going to have throughout the development. But again, after the building opens, teaching them how to do things both in front and behind the and that's a very strategic vision that takes a long time to roll out, because Chicago isn't really an entertainment city. People, leave, they go to LA or they go to New York. But I really think that we have an opportunity to bring that opportunity to our people in that community, so that they can become a part of that space and take care of their families.
That's and then like the Regal, as you were saying earlier, that I just want you to reiterate, like creating jobs for the community and what you were saying about that.
Absolutely, it's going to be a tremendous job engine, like I said, in terms of the construction. It's probably going to take us 2 to 3 years. We're hopeful that the trades that we're bringing into the project will be able to source labor from the neighborhood, from training and folks who are already maybe part of the union kind of perspective, as well as when we're open and having that kind of mentorship and apprenticeship from the trades that can trade train folks in filming and music and production and things of that like that are pertaining to entertainment that again provide a source of income for people being able to support their family and live in the community and create wealth and actually own the homes that they living in down the street, just creating an ecosystem. And I think the Regal Theater is powerful enough to create that kind of energy at that juncture.
Mm.
Well, David, you the youngest person on the panel, and you are in trades. You have a trade business in heating and air conditioning. So I want to ask you, do you think that the Regal Theater would draw, if it were restored, do you believe that it would draw a younger generation back to that area for the purposes that he just said? And do
Absolutely.
you think that, and do you think it's an opportunity for job creation and trades as well?
It's definitely an opportunity because they took all the trades, out of high schools. Simeon and CVS is like one of the two high schools that I know of that still offers, vocational post secondary, education. So that's something that we need in the community, and that's something that we don't have. And Brandon Johnson isn't really trying to invest in our students or kids in the community, and they really need something that they can work with their hands, that'll pretty much keep them out of trouble. Because we just as much as we need teachers, to teach a new day, we need builders. We need people who can build the city up. We need electricians. We need, contractors, to build up our community. Back in, like Miss Jackson say all the time, back in her day, you go outside of Chicago, even when I was a kid, I go outside of Chicago and you look around and, Chicago had everything on the south side of Chicago. But year by year, you see a bunch of abandoned buildings, nothing on the south side of Chicago, a bunch of crime, because nobody loves us. We getting sold out by our aldermen in all of our wards on the south side and west side of Chicago.
That's absolutely true. You had a good plan, a good vision for the Regal Theater. We all remember, I know I do, I remember the Regal Theater. I'm sure all of us remember the Regal Theater and the people in the audience. So with a plan that well thought out, what happened? What happened that you're not able to execute that plan?
Well, I can tell you that there's been a lot of resistance. Unfortunately, there have been multiple grants that we've applied for at the city level that have been denied. We did get one grant from the state during COVID to help us get back on our feet, as if we were already standing up, but to keep the project going. But there have been several city programs to which we've applied that have either denied our funding or we haven't even received word of as to whether or not we would be considered for the grant. That includes things like the Invest Southwest program, several rounds of applying to that, even the what's the name of it, the Adopt a Landmark Fund, and several other various programs. And these are extensive applications, and of course we're paying grant consultants to help us do that, and we're just throwing money to the wind when we're not hearing anything back. So there have been efforts to apply for different sources of funding from the city. What we're focused on right now is going after the historic tax credits that are involved with the project, where we're at the level now where the budget is substantial enough to produce tax credits that will enable us to basically leverage the equity of those tax credits into some pre-development mezzanine funding, if you will, to get us to the point of bootstrapping ourselves into the project. We're working with the city to do a phased reopening of the building that starts with the lobby. And again, most of this funding is coming from private equity sources. We're hopeful that once we gain enough steam, the squeakiest wheel gets the oil, right? So once we gain enough steam, hopefully the city will jump on board. But there have already been millions invested in this project. And as you can imagine, the budget has ballooned over what's basically a 12-year period since I've started off with this project. And we could have been open for 10 million, and now the budget's all the way up to nearly 30.
So you've been trying to do this for 12 years, you just said?
That's right.
Wow.
Then Kanye, raise money to like 600,000.
Yeah, so we had a contract with Kanye to come in and basically buy out 50% of the building for $1 million. And we ultimately got over basically a 2.5 to 3 year period, 600 grand out of them. And it was like pulling teeth, as you can imagine. We appreciate the press and the publicity, and we're still connected with some of his people. It's a very nuanced kind of relationship, but yeah, it would have been helpful if we got the $1 million that was in the operating agreement up front. That didn't happen, and I had to send my lawyers after him and his team, as does everyone. But we're trying to amicably do things so that he's still a partner, we're just trying to work things out in that regard. But when you're working with that level of celebrity, it gets a little difficult when you have a community project and you have someone at the helm that actually has business acumen and contracts and is not just going to let you railroad them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and it's funny that you mentioned, the south and west side investment, because that's something that Zoe and Miss Jackson was always talking about down at City Hall. Maybe y'all can elaborate a little bit more on that.
The Invest Southwest, you applied for that? You said you applied for
we did
Southwest money
several times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a hoax.
Right, they try to say it was a hoax.
Yeah, of course, Stephanie Coleman is a hoax.
Right, that's what Stephanie Coleman told me, that money was a hoax, because we did a press conference about Southwest Invest Funds back in September, on September 27th, 2023 to be exact. It was the first press conference that me and Zoe did, and we talked about the Southwest Invest money. And Stephanie Coleman, the president of the Black Caucus at City Hall, told me that money was a hoax. And but then about, I'm gonna say maybe 2-3 months ago, we was in City Hall, and that same Southwest Invest money was up on a screen. And I think I want to say Pat Dowse was the chair of that committee, Alderwoman Pat Dowse, and they had it up there, Southwest Invest, and I think they were converting it to a bond or something like that. I think
housing bonds.
Right, because they were using it. Their plan is to use it to build this low income housing, and they're going to put immigrants, the illegals, in there, because they bought them into City Hall, and it was like 2-3 rows of them, and they were there to speak on behalf of why it is that they needed this low income and lower income housing built over here in South Shore. And yeah, they were going to use the Southwest Invest money. So the money that was supposed to come to us, that was earmarked to the South and West Side from Lori Lightfoot, that was prior to COVID, prior to the illegals getting here, somehow has vanished, was told to us it was a hoax, and then reconsidered to be used to house illegals. That's why you can't get money for your for your 79th and Regal. I'm sorry. They give it to the illegals for housing. That's where it is, sir.
Now, Jerald, could you tell us now, from trying to get it open and things,
Jerald, right?
Jerald.
That's all right. Jay is fine. That's why people
Jay,
just call me Jay. No worries.
Jay.
That's fine.
Okay, so now what has just getting it open? Who have anybody tried to hinder you from getting it open? What is going on with that? What are you?
Oh boy, I try to focus on the positive, but there's been quite a bit of hindrances and weaponization of various city departments against the building. In fact, one outrageous story, I was at the theater with Mayfair Dance Academy. I don't know if you all are familiar with that dance company, but they're famed Southside Dance Academy. And I was in there with a group of young dancers filming a Christian music video, and the police were sent in to raid the venue and threatened to arrest everybody. It's crazy. It's part of one of the lawsuits that we had to file. And a lot of people think that I'm trying to fight or have some kind of adversarial relationship against the government. And it's not much that as much as we're trying to protect ourselves and trying to put ourselves in a position where we're not being taken advantage of or sabotaged in an endeavor that's already difficult enough.
What have you? Who's the alderman over there?
It's Alderman Michelle Harris.
That's the 8th ward.
That's the 8th ward.
Have you had a conversation with her about your ideas of what you wanted to bring to Regal? Like, have you ever sat down and you guys discussed what needed? Was she helpful? Was she? Because I read that she was trying to work with you. And then I hear that is not true. And I do also know that no one tells the truth in there. So I just wanted to ask you, have you ever sat and talked, try to work stuff out?
Absolutely. And even in the beginning, I had to get the blessing from the city to purchase the property. And there have been several meetings that we've had early on in the project. And even after she had me arrested on my own venue, I made the decision to still introduce her to Kanye West. So I said, I can't have this level of celebrity coming into this community and not make that introduction to the local government officials. So of course I did that. And we had a meeting at City Hall where we discussed different things. And next thing I know, I look up a year later and it's Regal Mile Studios copying my exact same presentation deck. It's just complete confusion.
What is Regal Mile Studios? Wow.
Wait, yeah, go back. Yeah, we gotta elaborate on that. Now, what did you say?
Basically, I introduced her to Kanye West, and the next thing you know, I'm getting usurped.
What year did it start? What year did it start when you started reaching out to the city and Alderwoman Michelle Harris? What year was that?
Well, I bought the building in 2014, and like I said, I had to get the blessing from City Council. Andy Mooney at the time actually was the head of then D-Head. I think they've changed it to another name, but in the event, I had to lobby the city to buy the building, which is what I did, and I was able to obviously get permission from them to do so, and had the support, of course, of the alderman. At some point, it flipped. I'm not really certain, but there've been multiple civil rights violations throughout this project, multiple copyright and intellectual property infringement situations, if you will. And as I said earlier, this is all of these lawsuits are just based on us trying to protect ourselves, and insulate the project from any further shenanigans. The building is already delicate enough without having to deal with the strife of working through bureaucratic red tape at City Hall. And again, I'm hopeful that the project has become so polarized at this point where people will start seeing through all of that and say, well, why can't we just all rally behind this project?
Okay, hold on. Let's get okay. So go back to when you said you went down there, you talked to them, they was okay with it, and somehow you were railroaded when you said about the Regal
Regal Mile Studio.
The Mile Studio. Yeah, let's go to that part.
Yeah. It's all in the lawsuit on the website. If you go to the website, download files. My attorneys probably don't want me to say much about it, but I mean,
Oh.
you could see in the marketing material that they had to take down as a result of our litigation. The website had a picture of our building. It was claiming to have plans to do something with the theater, and there was absolutely no relationship there. I was happy that there was a project across the street, of course, but then I began to slowly realize that they were trying to usurp our brand. They're stealing our intellectual property to raise money on a project that I haven't seen any progress over there, unless they're using spoons. I haven't seen anything coming up out of the ground in some time since it's been announced during election season conveniently. So I don't remain hopeful that there will be an economic benefit from whatever 60, $100 million, the order of magnitude goes up every time we talk about it in the media. But I suspect the story is going to be a little bit different this time around come election season in a couple of years. There's no way that you can build a studio or any project of that order of magnitude in terms of capital investment inside of 720 days.
And so it was right across the street from the Regal. They proposed.
Yeah.
You remember Coming to America? You remember the McDowells?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's McDowells.
Okay. They were saying that there's a guy by the name of Al Ryder. Now he is part of this as well.
That's one of the former pseudo-former, I don't even know what he's doing now, assistants. And, there's just been a lot of, trying to be careful with my words here because it is ongoing litigation.
Okay.
Just a lot of impolite and inappropriate behavior, I think, coming up out of that office. And I think suffice it to say that it has reached a fevered pitch where, again, we had to protect ourselves by actually filing lawsuits. These are not vindictive tirades. These are not, oh, we're railing against the city or we're part of some kind of political opposing affiliation. This is literally us trying to protect our civil rights because there have been so many egregious violations of the right to our property. I mean, I'll give you an example. We were filming with 50 Cent. We were doing the Power series. We had Joseph Sikorsk, I think is his name, on set, several other stars from Hollywood. This is approved through the film office. We're in the middle of a week film shoot. And the production manager runs up to me talking about, oh, I got a call from the alderman that we're not supposed to be in here. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Michelle Harris, right?
It's completely ridiculous. We're in there with people from LA. It's like 300 people in the building, okay? We've got the whole street shut down. There are fake cars everywhere. It just, a complete spectacle. And, they plan these things out months in advance. They were in there doing air quality testing and everything prior to filming. But I said, literally the alderman called you? She said, yeah. She's got tears in her eyes. I'm like, what? You did the air quality test. What are you talking about? She's like, okay, I guess you're right. So they resumed production, but to talk her back down from the ledge, it was ridiculous. That kind of tortious interference really on business activities has pervaded our fundraising efforts throughout this entire 11 to 12 year period. When you look at the kind of deal this already is in the capital markets, it's already risky enough without having someone run behind us and disparaging the opportunity that we're trying to bring to investors.
Right.
I like that term you use, torturous intervention, because that's what it is. That abuse of political position and political power to intervene and to hinder the progress of a private business owner. Torturous intervention. That's a good term to use.
So you
I'll
were
remember it.
that's a good. So you were in the middle. You were in the middle of filming it, and Michelle Harris, the alderman, sent them over there, the police over there, to try to shut everything down.
Yeah, 100%. We had another event we were doing during COVID. We had and during the census as well during 2020, giving away PPE, and we were registering people to vote, and we had the vaccine there, offering it to anybody who wanted to take it. And police show up, and they're like, "All right, everybody out." We're not even inside the building. We're outside of the property, right? We're supposed to stay vacant and secure. Just things like that. Just general harassment, and on an ongoing basis, not like a one-off kind of thing.
Right.
And that's completely unacceptable for anyone in that level of power to be misusing and abusing and weaponizing city assets like that. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of effort, and it's illegal.
Yes.
So what is stopping you from working on it? Is it a zoning issue? Is it they're just not letting you go in because you own it? It's yours. So like why? What is you don't have the you're not letting you get the entertainment license? What is it, or is it just because right now you're just waiting for the lawsuits to go through?
Well, it's not. And the lawsuits again are a defensive measure to protect the project so that we can move forward. And what we've had to do over the past few years, as you can imagine, is pivot around the kinds of funds that would typically be provided by the city for these kinds of projects. And in so doing, over the past decade or so, the budget has ballooned so to the point where the kinds of historic tax credits that are available for these kinds of deals are substantial enough for us to bootstrap ourselves into actual pre-development and pre-construction to work towards getting open the lobby. And we'll have a campaign forthcoming regarding that to help us pay for some of those soft costs. But we're looking at about $5 million we're going to have to put into the project, and that's just about equal to our tax credits. And it's a little bit of a complicated structure, but again, these are funds that are set aside for these kinds of projects, and they are not city funds. And that's the pivoting that we've had to do. And again, because the budget has gotten so substantial, the percentage of the budget that those tax credits are available for are able to help us lift ourselves up by the bootstrap to actually start doing work and not having to put in applications constantly with the city that are getting denied.
Yeah, it sounds like all jokes aside, that was a comedy club that was on the South Loop. He finally wanted to move it closer to downtown. They didn't want it to go to downtown, so he bought the building, finally got the building, but they dragged him in court for so long, denied all of anything that he wanted to get to build it up, all that, until they broke him and he had to sell the building. So I've learned in this that they are going to try to just take everything that you have until you eventually just give it up.
Oh, they already tried to do that, but my lawyers are too good. What's lost on them is that I have a background in private equity, so I know how to move very well at the Daily Center.
Yeah, the Daily Center. What do you say, Ms. Jackson? Where the case is what?
Go to Danni.
Cases
I'm in the chambers.
Wow. So you would think this is a black alderman. We did a segment on her. So she's a black alderman, been an alderman for a very long time. You have a black man who's trying to bring jobs in the black community, and we have a landmark and just keep the youth off the street, Give them something to do, because the Regal Theater, when I remember it, it was something that kept us off the street. We would go there for talent shows. We would go there to showcase our talent. It kept the kids, you know, to give them something to do. So now you have a Black woman who's an Alderman, Michelle Harris. You're a Black man who have purchased that and trying to do something for the community that they say that's what they want to do. And yet they are railroading you in every way to do that, huh?
And as many words as that, and I try not to be, again, adversarial. I don't want to, certainly don't want to give off that aggressive Black man vibe. And, you know, that's definitely the term that's been thrown at me. I feel like I've been unfairly judged as someone who's just trying to be angry and create noise around something about nothing. And that actually isn't the case. There are so many roadblocks that have been unnecessary to this project that have really damaged the perception of what was already a delicate brand. And I knew that when I took it on, just based on the drama of the building before I became the owner. And I understood that that was something which had to be nurtured and essentially refocused in terms of how the heritage plays an important role of us retaining some kind of stakeholdership in our neighborhoods, even if we can't hang on to our property, be it because we lost it through probate or we didn't have proper estate planning or foreclosure or whatever the case. At least we'll be able to share in the heritage of our legacy that still exists. And I'm hopeful, again, that there's an economic benefit there that emerges from the operations of the building that enables people to have jobs and get regular paychecks and create different industries out of the creative things we're going to be doing in that property that can help them support and raise families in that neighborhood and retain and grow the wealth that we have happened to be able to hold on to at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you mentioned that you were careful in the way that you worded things, or expressed things. You know, you had a concern of not being identified or marked as an angry Black man, Black male thing. You would not want that, so can you tell the audience and me, how should you act? Somebody's stealing something from you. No, I'm just saying, no, because no, I mean it in all sincerity.
I know.
Because I mean it in all sincerity. Because I'm going through what I'm going through with the city and the county. And I would like to think that you telling me, and because I really want my situation resolved, as I do believe you do too. And I believe that Zoe wants her situation resolved. I believe that Danni wants those restaurant tables from the front of her property, depreciating her value of her work. I'm sure David wants to get his business loans and stuff going. And I would hate to think, as hard as we're working at it and as dedicated as all of us have been, that the reason why we're not getting anywhere with City Hall and the county and the courts and the judges is because we're talking wrong. So please tell me how we should talk.
Well, I don't want to get too radical on this call, but I think it's all about.
Well, you just talking to us. We don't have no power to do anything. We just exchanging information.
I think it's all about cooperative economics.
None of us have the power to hinder you from anything. We're just exchanging information. We're looking out from one Black person to another. We're helping each other out. And I really want to know that. How should we talk?
I think the answer is cooperative economics. And now, day and age, it's taken probably 15 or maybe upwards of 20 years for us to get to a point where we're able to take technology and leverage that in order to invest back in our communities. And you've seen these different models pop up conceptually in terms of the Black Wall Street movement, so on and so forth. Dr. Claude Anderson with Powernomics, and it goes on and on. But the gist is grouping monies together as an entity and directing investment of that capital. And that's generally crowdfunding. I have a background, like I said, in private equity, and that's essentially what that is. And being able to take that as a model and make people understand how powerful that can be. It's no longer a buy black just to buy black soap. It's a buy black soap because there is no soap in the community kind of thing. There's a complete deficit of supply and demand in the community that exists in terms of the products that should be available to a highly functioning community. And those businesses that could be servicing that deficit exist in the community, but they can't grow and service those demands because they don't have access to the investment capital. And the misnomer is that the investment capital, surely no one's thinking that investment capital, which could allow those businesses in the community to scale up, actually exists in the community by the people who live there. People, I grew up on the South Side, and I used to be like, man, I can't wait to live downtown because it's nothing but homes over here. And what are people doing in those homes? They're owning them because they're working, right? And that's what a majority of people who live on the South Side are, despite what you might see in the media and what people may talk about. It's a bunch of people who've got pension funds with the city, or they work for CTA, whatever the case might be. But there's tons of investment capital that already exists in our community. And all we need is the conduit. And this is what my life's work is, to bring the conduit into our neighborhoods worldwide that enables somebody to say, you know what, that two flat looks terrible over there. For 20 years, I've been looking at it. I'm going to put in $20 or $100, and then in 90 days, it's going to be up and running. It's going to be renters in there. It's going to be a rent to own program, or whatever the case may be. The same thing with businesses. You know, Tony's needed $50,000 to expand his tow truck inventory. He keeps going to the bank and they keep denying him, creating a private equity vehicle that's funded by the community that can invest in those kind of things, like the Regal Theater. So that's my soapbox moment in terms of bringing the collective economics to bear in our neighborhoods. But that's the conversation I think we need to be having, and it's a tangible conversation to have now, because it's easy to send links around to people and say, we want to invest in this. We want to finally, we got somebody that can pool capital together and give Mr. Allen, give Mr. So-and-so his $275,000 and grow his business. So I don't have to wait 3 weeks to get my car back.
And you believe that the reason why we're not getting those opportunities to collectively engage in equity is because we're not talking right.
Well, because I think it's because we don't have the knowledge.
No, okay, because you know, I'm just, you know, because my mother is deceased, right? And she left a full-fledged will with full-fledged instructions, and had no debt, and didn't owe anybody no personal taxes, no back taxes, none of that. And I'm just saying, what is she saying? Because she's dead. So what is she saying that's making them not honor her estate and hindering me from living in peace? You're saying that's because I'm talking wrong when I go to City Hall or when I go to court? You don't see the common thread in all of this is that there's political corruption. There's right. So what I'm saying is, I think, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be mannerable and businesslike, because like you said, all of us grew up in working class families, grew up with etiquette. I know I'm college educated. I worked as an accountant for 35 years. I went to some of the best universities in the United States of America. So I speak very well, and my comprehension is excellent. I was raised by a good mother, Christian home. My father didn't abuse me and none of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just so I'm pretty sure that the reason why my situation is being hindered, and based on what I've heard from Zoe being down here and how I've met her mother and had contact with her mother, and I've met Danni, and I see that she's an entrepreneur that works every day in her physical training business, and she's a married woman with children and a husband that's a retired police officer for 28 years. So I'm pretty sure, and it's my understanding they're property owners. So I'm pretty sure they, know how to conduct themselves properly. I just told you, David has his own air conditioning and heating business, and he's a young man, and he's just enrolled in what he needed to do with the city to get the city contracts. So I just, and when I couple all those things together, that I know to be true.
Right.
And then when I go to City Hall and I hear what happens in City Hall and I see what happens in City Hall, like the example I just gave you about the Southwest Invest money.
Yeah.
And when and the things that we're talking about, like on Famous Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I don't want to tell people that we shouldn't be mindful of the way that we carry ourselves and, in the proper etiquette. But I definitely don't want people to believe that the reason why things are not working out for them is because they're not talking right. When I'm looking at all this corruption,
I sued everybody. 4 lawsuits going on right
okay,
now.
so what I'm saying is, let's make the public be clear as to why you ended up needing to sue people in this, and it had little to do with, I'm sure, about the way that you were speaking as a black man, as opposed to, because you're intelligent and you're a businessman, and I know that you know how to present yourself anytime you're going for a theater like the landmark like the Regal Theater. So I have no doubt about that. So let the people know what led you to do those lawsuits. I'm believing that it had more to do with their corrupt behavior than it did about the way that you was talking.
Oh, definitely. And I appreciate you circling back to my comment about being an aggressive black man, because how are you going to be mad at me when your foot is on my neck and you're going to ask me, why are you yelling out?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why are you cheating me? Why don't we say that?
Exactly. So that's the gist of it. Basically, I've been a pretty low-key person. I don't like to be high profile or in front or anything like that. And this project, frankly, isn't about me. It's about the neighborhood and the community and the benefits that reopening this building can bring to the city. But with all of that being said, I have been the ire and the focus of just so many adverse actions to put this project down for no reason. And it doesn't even make any sense to me why that has been the case, but it's gotten to such a point where we had to do something about it. And we've been very comfortable after everything had been filed, because nobody's coming after us. We've stayed everything, if you will. We've gotten no threats. Nobody's shown up trying to do some random inspection, and it's all just random. It's not the Department of Buildings, which has been very good to us. And a shout out to the Department of Buildings, definitely, because they want to help us get this property open. And it's the non-electeds and the people who hear the chit chat. When you have so many kinds of rumors coming out of that office, it becomes, as I said earlier, difficult to raise money in that kind of environment. So we almost had to file a gag order, if you will, to stop the abuse. This isn't we're vindictive tirade, or we're trying to just make some noise and we're mad, Antifa, whatever. That's not the case. It literally is about protecting our civil rights. So that's the reason for filing the lawsuits, and on top of everything else that is involved with this project in terms of the development and the future impact that we're planning to have on the community once it reopens. That's just a tremendous extra boulder on our shoulder that I don't think we need to deal with anymore. So I'm hopeful things will be looking up in 2025 and beyond.
When you purchased the Regal, was it an auction through FDIC?
So yeah, the listing was with the FDIC, and they had taken the asset under receivership from a bank that they had taken over, basically, and it was already
Citizens
an
Bank.
REO. That's correct. It was already an REO when they took over the asset, and we got it for a great price. I mean, the FDIC isn't in the real estate business. They're certainly not in the vaudeville movie house business. So we picked it up for a song and a dance, and we've sunk millions into it since then, keeping it in a development ready state so that we can hit the ground running whenever we get our money together.
Did they, when you purchased it, did they know you as it was your company that purchased it? So were they aware that it was you? Like, did they just think because you're in equity, you're in private equity, you're in
actually, people thought it was Jay-Z, which I thought was pretty funny. There was a rumor that came out that Jay-Z and Beyonce purchased it, and I just sat back and laughed and stayed quiet. But such is the nature of the industry I grew up in, but such is not the nature of a theater. So I had to put myself out there and start doing interviews and really let people know what I was doing. And it's important, I think, for people who are in the community to see. I don't like to do a lot of interviews. I like to say that I'm not client facing, but I can when I need to be. But I think it is important for people to hear me speak about the greater economic impact that the building will have once it's reopened. This isn't just about doing shows. It's not about, we're going to have 3 events in the lobby this week and we got Jodeci coming on Saturday kind of thing. It's more than that. And it's, again, about the trades that can be taught to the people who live in the new trades, using the different technology of filming TikToks and entertainment, that kind of thing, for the younger generation. And as hokey as it might sound, put a trumpet in that hand instead of a gun kind of thing is really the concept here, to speak with regard to what you said earlier. And I was part of the Gallery 37 program. I grew up on, so I saw somebody say Jack and Jill, which is hilarious. I dated somebody from Homewood, Flossmoor, that went to Jack and Jill, but I grew up on 79th and Evans, so I don't even know what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? But being able to have the opportunity to be in a music program and not be on the streets, and be able to develop my mind creatively and use that talent, even if I don't end up going into music. Maybe I'm a mechanical engineer, use that creative process to work my way through life and be able to figure things out with more creative solutions than I would have been able to had I not been exposed to that arts education. So I have personal experience with how important it is to have that kind of exposure. And that's really my goal for reopening this property.
Are you familiar with the previous owner, Regina Evans?
I've heard of the story. Of course, I read all of the documents before I purchased the theater.
Okay.
Let me ask, see, I'm trying to understand because I'm not understanding, because see, I bought a building, right? And I would think that with the aldermen in the district and things like that, that it's certain type of money, it's like grants and things that we can get. That's because we bought buildings in our community. So I bought a building in 2019. Like you said, I was denied all the grants, even though I'm a Black woman, and opportunity zone that we were in and how we got the building. But everything was denied. Like I couldn't get grants. You can't, even though you're trying to be in there helping the community, the kids, what they say, bring the kids to be healthy and things like that. So when I hear you say that far as the money, but my thing is, how is it that we have aldermen that can help us, or maybe say, hey, this is how you can get the money to help open up your business, because they're interested in keeping, us having businesses in our neighborhoods? How is it that you can't seem to get the help, or they blocking you? I don't see, and because that's what's happening to me. So I really don't understand what's going on, while we can't get businesses open in our community, especially when we're trying to do it the right way and do things. So
I think it's akin to when you go to the nightclub sometimes, and the bouncer is going to charge you 50, 100, but if you get in for free, you might spend that plus something else on some bottles, and they just charging you at the door. Just ridiculous. Like, you have no idea how much money I'm going to spend up in here tonight, and you just turned me off because you're trying to charge me $100 bounce. And that's what we see in our communities in terms of the businesses that come and go, and the unsustainability of operating a business in our community. As an entrepreneur of color, they can't get access to capital.
right.
And they're dealing with that blockage, both from a capital markets perspective, as well as from a political perspective, because they can't play like the developers coming in there with the shiny suits and
Right.
the wads of cash. And
you're dealing with
unless
these
you're doing
investors.
that, then if you can't, if we can't talk at all, we can't talk at all, basically. And that's what that is.
Because you're dealing with these investors that's bribing these aldermen. They taking the money, it's a lot of money laundering that's going on. They don't have our best interests at heart. They stonewalling us. They don't care. The only thing they care about is these illegals. They already gave half of the city's budget to these illegals, and I can guarantee you that if you was probably actually an illegal immigrant, your business probably would have already took off.
You would have that money. See, when you said, when you said as a business person of color, you going through this, no, because these illegal immigrants supposed to be the brown, and they getting all this money. These Latinos that's even legal, the brown, and they getting all this money. Asians getting money. The Indians, they getting money. The Native Americans getting money. It's black people who ain't getting money. And we need to be at a place now where we make that clear that that's who's being left out. See, that's part of the way that we got here too. This wanting to get under the umbrella of people of color and being okay with watching everybody else get while we specifically are not getting.
Right.
We got to stop acting like our mouth is going to break out in convulsion if we use the word black.
Mm-hmm.
We can be black. We need to, black people need to ask for our money. Black people need to say we getting cheated. Black people need to acknowledge that, because it's not happening to people of color. People of color is getting theirs. Don't believe it? Come down there to City Hall and see how that money is going. See how that money is going. People of color getting theirs. It's the black people that's not getting ours. And we need to start saying that.
Exactly, because it's I see a bunch of Mexican restaurants, or whatever you want to, Hispanic restaurants, brick and mortar, opening up all in our neighborhoods. And when we went down there to the meeting, when they was allocating the money, and they had letters from the aldermen that were letters of recommendation for them to get the money, and things like that. So see, that's what I was really trying to get out. But Miss Jackson, you hit it on the head. We got to stop acting like that we don't want to speak about it. Listen, 2019, I didn't hit this building, and I cannot get capital to open it, no grants, no anything. And I done put it out there, you know, the neighborhood opportunity grants and things like that, trying to help. And I'm telling, I really want to help the community and all the free stuff that I will offer and things like that. And they giving it to the bars, or they giving it to other places that's getting those grants. So we see in our neighborhoods, everything that's opening up, it's not, we don't own it. Everybody else is owning it. So let's be clear about what's really happening. Thank you, Miss Jackson. Thank you.
Is the Regal Theater, is it in a TIF zone too?
Yep.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But suspiciously, it's not in the New Markets tax credit zone, which is sort of drawn ambiguously around the theater. It's almost as if, as O'Hare is part of Chicago, when you look at a city map, it's that little line that's drawn up there, and then O'Hare is in there. The Regal has been suspiciously left out of the New Markets tax credits map, which would have provided additional millions to the project. And I believe that map was re-legislated in 2015, 2016, or something to that effect. And as to why they would do that to an historic building that's also a Chicago landmark is a little fishy to me.
Yeah,
have you ever raised that issue?
Danni
have
sold.
you ever raised that issue to City Hall and zoning? Have you ever raised that issue to zoning and City Hall?
Well, it's a federal map, so it would be like talking to a brick wall. I haven't raised the issue with anyone. I did notice it, and as I said, we've just been really trying our best to stay on our toes, stay on our feet, and protect ourselves from any kind of animosity, be it political or economic or whatever the case might be. And keep our chins up and keep moving forward and trying to focus on the positive, staying open to collaboration, because at the end of the day, it's all about reopening the theater to the community and finding the path of least resistance to doing so.
I got one question. You, first of all, it ain't no working with these people. That's number one. Number two is you are in the worst court ever. I'm praying that it can get up out of there. But the Daily Plan, that is a criminal organization just with itself, the Daily Center. But when you went to start trying to get grants and stuff, you were denied all money from the city?
Oh, we definitely didn't get any money from the city. Absolutely. Sometimes they told us, sometimes they didn't. And so these are programs that should have at least given us some kind of yes or no, thumbs up or no, or this is what we need. And sometimes they just don't. These are for grants that are worth millions of dollars. We've submitted for various facets of the project, up to including the facade renovation, helping out with soft costs, keeping the building just going, doing some critical repairs to the exterior envelope, and everything in between, really. Again, the entire project. I mean, can y'all do anything for us? Nothing.
Well, the only reason why I say that is because when I go back to the Regina Evans story, she was a real estate investor and a Country Club Hills police chief. And, Citizen Bank and Trust filed a foreclosure suit March 31st, 2010, about 4 months after the bank dismissed an earlier foreclosure suit in an apparent effort to give the theater a second chance. It says, yet a month after that, the first foreclosure case that was dismissed December 10th, the venture led by Miss Evans that owns the theater missed the next mortgage payment. According to the bank's new complaint, filed in Cook County Circuit Court, the bank is seeking to collect $2.1 million. Chicago Bank, Citizens Bank, and Trust failed Friday. Privately held Republic Bank of Chicago took over its deposits and assets. This is where it says the Evans venture paid $2.4 million for the theater in 2008, but the Daily administration helped finance the deal by writing off a $1.9 million loan it had on the property?
It's actually conditional. There's a 437-page redevelopment agreement that's attached to the property that follows it throughout every owner. In fact, we're in the, if I'm not mistaken, second or third amended stage of said redevelopment agreement. But in any event, there was debt that was awarded obviously to the project when Ed Gardner redeveloped it, and the relinquishing of that debt, if you will, is contingent on various repairs that should have been done to the facade, but were not. In fact, when I purchased the building, we were enjoined, my company, to the building court case that was brought against the former owner, because there were things that were supposed to have been done, but they weren't done. And we've addressed a lot of that. And that's essentially the gist of that. Most of it is concerning the excuse me, the facade and excuse me, replacement of some of the elements that need to be either refabricated or repaired. And of course, that's a slow moving train. That number goes up every month. But there were things critical to that element of the building that were not addressed that ended up landing it in building court. And of course, there were funds expended to that effect that, from my understanding, were not actually used for that. And part of that, relinquishing of that debt from the city, again, is contingent on that work getting done over a certain period of time. I think it was maybe 5 or 10 years or something like that. That's a negotiable thing, but in the second amendment.
Yeah, it was just the fact that you've been trying to get funding and grants, and they're giving you the ringer, taking you around, saying, I read that Michelle Harris was saying that it's not safe in there. They need, it needs a new roof and all that. But the fact that the Daley administration wrote a $1.9 million loan for this lady who happens in 2012, gets convicted for stealing government money, nonprofit money, to rehab that very same building.
The same building.
Yeah. So the fact that you're going through all of this, you're losing millions of dollars, you're losing your relationship. People, this lady is trying to defame your character, trying to make you something that you're not. And the fact that the previous administration before you got it, not only they wrote off a $1.9 million loan, they gave her all the money to fund what she wanted to do for the Regal Theater, and she stole the money, her and her husband.
But what race were these people? Do you know?
Black.
And you got to mention, when he got it, they rezoned it out for the money.
Right. So it's just
these are the things.
It's clicks and politics. Like they say, clicks and politics, like they say, and it's who you know, because ain't nowhere in the world you should be having any trouble getting any money to get anything done with that theater. It's already landmark status, which they're really mad that it's landmark status, because they would have been knocked down just off of principle, because that's what they did when it came on principle. That's what they did when it came to my building. Once my mother, because it's a TIF zone, once my mother put it in her nonprofit, it was like, F it. We're just going to demolish it. So I hate the buildings department. Marlene Hopkins, I hope she goes to jail. But as far as, but when it goes to, I'm watching that the money, it's not an issue with the money not being in our areas, because it's there. The grants, the opportunity zones, the TIF zones, the tax credits that you're talking about. However, it's dependent on the person. And that's the problem. Like, you shouldn't be, you're suing, like, what, you got 5 lawsuits?
Something like that.
1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 lawsuits.
See?
All because you're in your own lane, trying to do your own thing with reopening a landmark that shouldn't be open. Like, they should be giving you everything to make sure it stays open.
That's it.
Everything. You shouldn't be thinking about no crowdfunding. You shouldn't be thinking about anything. The city got it. The city got it, and that's a staple. That's been a staple for a very long time. So it's not about how you talking to people. That's your money. That's your money, your vision, your idea. No, you're somebody. I don't think you're somebody. The fact that they gatekeep these certain projects and lots and all this, like everybody else can't do affordable housing. It's like when somebody else talk about affordable housing or want to create the landmark or want to create jobs for us and the kids and seniors and stuff like that. It's like, no, we don't got. I don't know what you're talking about. How can I get the TIF money? Oh, I don't know how you do that. But then we'll go over here and watch a white developer get over $100 million in TIF money with a letter from recommendation from that same alderman who had no idea how to get the TIF money.
Because the fact that they are putting up these affordable housing, which is what they want. They look at them as heroes, but this man is a true hero because he's trying to create jobs and reinvest back into his community. They don't want that.
That's it. They don't
want that. They don't want that. That's where they don't want that. The Democratic Party does not want private citizens to own anything.
No, they don't.
They don't want us to own real estate for private property. They don't want us to own commercial property for businesses. The Democratic Party doesn't want us to own anything. Nothing. They want the government to own everything and major big corporations to own anything. So your issue at the end of the day has the same issues that we have. Your stuff is tied up in court. The aldermen or whatever are using their connections to keep your stuff tied up in court. Every time you want to do something, it lands another lawsuit. Just like I got 4 different cases on this one piece of property. Come on. And this ain't nothing but a 2 flat. But because of the way that they have violated civil rights, because they have violated constitutional rights, because they have violated probate law, every time I respond to it, like what you're doing, it lands another lawsuit because they keep violating rights. Why? Because at the end of the day, the Democratic Party doesn't want Black private citizens to own anything. That's the reason why they allow in our neighborhoods to get run down like this, so that the government and the corporations can come back around, buy up everything dirt cheap, and give it to everybody except for us. We got to stop falling for it. Stop thinking it's because you did it, and learn to say, because it's really okay to say that the Democratic Party is corrupt. And it's really okay to accept that and move over into a party that can help us engage in free enterprise and capitalism like this country is built on. Now, what I advise you to do is what I'm doing and what I'm encouraging the other people on this panel to do is to take advantage of the fact that for the first time in history, we have a president of the United States who is the most powerful person in the world. That's what the president of the United States is, whether you agree with him or not, it doesn't matter. That position is the most powerful person in the world. And right now, he is the first time that we've had a president that knows all too well about how corrupt these courts are. He knows all too well about corrupt judges. He knows about how they tie up your assets, how they mess up your money, because they did it to him. So you need to do like what we're doing, and that is getting our information to the federal government for some help, because your local administration is sending you through the ringer, one lawsuit after another, one game after another, because the Democratic Party in its current state is not into economic development for the South Side and the West Side of Chicago. They're not into that right now. So if you really want to pursue your goals for 79th and Stony Island, which is very South Side, and you want someone to challenge that relining and redistricting stuff that you saying suddenly appeared, you might want to take that to the federal government.
It's a shame that we got to go to the federal government, and we got City Hall that's supposed to be the legislative branch. Well, we supposed to get things done, but we can't get anything done.
Can't get anything done because the TIF money has been a piggy bank for a very long time, and they have access to like Ms. Jackson says. That's they are the legislative body, city council. They are the most important body, and they're the lawmakers and stuff, but they also are thieves. You're dealing with criminals. Like, there's no way that you could talk to these criminals. These are criminals who have taken up oath, who are violating the U.S. Constitution, violating your rights, keeping us, like Dave says, an economic genocide, and they're going to continue to do it if we allow it. Like, it's no talking to these people. They put my mother in the hospital. There's not nothing to talk to them about. It's y'all are going to jail. That's next. Like, jail, and that's next. I've been doing this for 2 years. I met Ms. Jackson down there, met Dave, met Danni. I've met others, but when it comes to, they're taking our generational wealth. Do you have kids?
I do.
Yes, they're taking your generational wealth. That is a theater that you thought to buy. You thought to go through, found all, you did your research. You know how to do this. You're a Black man who has his own equity form. Like, you have everything. You have the connections, and they won't let you be great and bringing jobs to the Black community. That y'all always down there arguing about how we don't have the resources and we don't have the jobs and the job creations, or anybody. No one wants to do the job creations in our community. And here you are. And they are like, no, not you though. No, not you though.
Because you have to keep in mind that you at this point you should see that it's not even about just City Hall. It's not about just them down there. It's about that party. You got to understand that the Democratic Party in its present state, I'm not talking about the Democratic Party of old. Let that go. I'm talking about in its present state, this Democratic Party does not support Black private ownership. They don't support it, period. Period. Okay, but as like they always say, but when America got a cold, Black people got the flu. Okay, so right now the Democratic Party is not supporting any private citizen in owning anything, but because we're Black and because our neighborhoods have been on this downward spiral for so long. Now with everything that's going on, and particularly with the infiltration of these illegals like this, now it's bringing the conversation, to the forefront.
That's right.
But the reality is this has been going on a long time. And they've been able to do it because we've been drinking the Kool-Aid for so long about how good the Democrats are and how racist the Republicans are. When the reality is the Republicans are not doing that to you, Jay. It's not a Republican that's a part of anything that you're doing, sir.
Even where your
it's the party.
Yeah,
it's the party.
And where your theater is right now, this is the right time to get investors. What you will get investors for opportunity zones. And they're not even going to let you be great with. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you gotta be willing to accept it from someone other than someone who you really want it from. I get it. I would have loved to have gone down there to City Hall, told my story about how the courts is trying to steal my mother's property, about how they keep breaking the law. And then I would have loved my alderman, which is Greg Mitchell. I would have loved him to just fight for my property instead of acting like he was. I would have loved for him and those black aldermen down there to grab hold to what me and Zoe and them was saying, and that is they stealing black people's property. I would have hoped that those black aldermen would have listened to other seniors from other areas that was coming down there talking about how things was happening in their communities, how their buildings and stuff and property and stuff was being taken, how they're being displaced. I really would have wished that though I would have seen it, those black aldermen come together and say that we got to save the black community and we got to stand up. But what I will tell you is I've been going down there for almost 2 years. And I'm telling you, there has never, not ever, never, ever, never, never, ever, never been not one time where a black alderman has stood up on that floor and said, give black people their money. Give black people money for economic development. Give black people money for small businesses. Give black people money to fix up the South Side 2 flats and 3 flats. Give black people money to deal with some of these local schools that's all dried up. Right. I never even heard them even stand up and talk about gang violence. How about that part?
Yeah, they have not.
They have no concern.
They don't
for the black community. None.
Yeah, they don't want to make it better. Like you having that theater, you being able to work with the schools in the 8th ward for jobs. You understand? Back in the day, teenagers used to have jobs at the movie theater, at the theaters. So the fact that they want our kids not to have nothing. And they don't want us to have nothing. And they want us, and they're violating the Constitution. They're violating the U.S. Constitution. They're violating the Illinois state Constitution. They're violating all the bylaws. They're violating the policies. They're giving everybody to run around, but clearly you're not dumb. Miss Jessica's not dumb. I'm not dumb. Danny's not dumb. Dave is not dumb. And a whole bunch of other people that are now starting to speak out are also not. But you're dealing with the most corrupt city on the planet, and they have took pride in that.
They took pride in
that, and they are by any means necessary. Yeah, we corrupt. Yeah, we violating the Constitution. Yeah, we're not upholding the oath. Yeah, I know that we owe you some money. I know you taking us to court. I know all that. But at the end of the day, what you gonna do? Because ain't nobody gonna stop us, or so they think.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jay, when we did Michelle Harris segment, Michelle Harris, she been under a lot of mayors. She had power. It's no way she could not have did anything to help you get everything straight and open if she wanted to, because she have a lot of power. We did a segment on her. Also, when you go down there and you look at in the Hispanic neighborhood and things like that, all they have is Hispanic-owned businesses in their neighborhood, and they're steady getting everything they need. It's only the black community with these black aldermen that would never, ever try to advocate for us. Michelle Harris is a disgrace. It's no way. She should not even, like Zoe said, because of that building and what that building represents, the landmark, it's no way you should even have to. They should have been coming to you, and you're a black man. They should been coming to you saying, hey, this grant is available to you. Hey, this, if you want to get this started, hey, this. It's no way. And that's a black alderman, and that's what she is. Why didn't she? And now, not only that, she calling the police and trying to get you shut down. That lady has to go. All the disgrace 50 have to go. And this is a disgrace to us and to our people. I'm pissed off about this. This is crazy.
And
Well,
at this point,
it's certainly been. I've seen the building degrade over the years, and I've seen just so many bad things happen in front of that building that otherwise would not have happened if the lights had just been on, for instance, let alone people, instead of loitering in front, are ushering people to their seats inside. Just off of that, I've seen how the disinvestment in the community has really accelerated the downfall of the neighborhood, and it's heartbreaking, really.
Yes. Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
it's
So
heartbreaking when you got a mayor that's running around here that wants to be a celebrity and actually instead of actually doing his job,
he wants to
around
be a
her.
dictator.
He's going
dictator
around her.
wrong.
He's going around her taking pictures, doing everything for a photo op, passing out days, giving Frankie Beverly a day.
Mm-hmm.
In Chicago, giving Derrick Rose a day in Chicago. Now, Derrick Rose is my favorite basketball player. And, I'm happy for his retirement and his dedication that he gave to his son. But, but you have a man here that Brandon Johnson needs to be acknowledging something that can actually help the community. But he wants to do everything for the Instagram and, for YouTube and different things like that. He's incompetent as a mayor.
Mm-hmm.
When you first purchased it in 2014, did you talk to? It was Ron, man. He was the mayor at the time.
Yeah, I believe I've been through probably 3 mayors, 3 presidents, and a couple of governors at this point with this project.
Yeah, I've been with my mother. Been with 3 mayors: Ron Manuel, Lori Lightfoot, and then Brandon. How about you, Miss Jessica?
What?
Mayors.
Just when I got here, Lori Lightfoot was the mayor, and then from her, Brandon Johnson.
Have you like sent a letter to Brandon Johnson's administration?
I've sent letters to just about everyone who I thought would listen, and it's been like screaming inside of a glass box. I feel like my story on deaf ears.
That's all of our story.
Yeah, welcome. Have you? Man, it's
But I'm looking at this comment. It says, "Why don't you get the tax incremented financing money like all the Hispanic aldermen to do
in their ward,
right?" And then a comment before then was talking about programs that Prisoner had for home ownership and that they have been using it. It's been here for years. Let me say this. Again, we're down there and we're listening to what's happening in City Hall. What I'm saying is what you heard me say. That down in City Hall, they do not talk about these programs. They're talking about affordable housing for illegal immigrants. That's what they're talking about. That's where money is going right now. As it pertains to this TIF money that's up here now, that's been an issue that Zoe has been talking about for a while now. Where is our TIF money? That's the conversation that we're having right now. That money that should be available to us, we're not getting because our aldermen are not doing what they're supposed to do for our areas. Therefore, our areas are being run down like that. That's the conversation. Now, as it pertains to whatever it is that the programs that Prisoner have, look, first time homeowner programs and stuff like that, they've been around. They be around and, people take advantage of them, how they take advantage of them. Nobody's saying that they're not. There's always, there are always some that get through the cracks, if you will. What this conversation is about is how they're taking our stuff. How they're hindering opportunity. And you cannot argue that with people that sitting here on the panel that opportunities are being hindered. Whose property is being stolen. That
Yes.
has nothing to do with an ownership homeowner program that Prista may be having in place. That has nothing to do with the reality that they're stealing my mother's property through a probate process. It has nothing to do with the reality that they're getting Zoe's mother through eminent domain. It has nothing to do with the reality that they're hindering Jay, Danni, and Davis' opportunity as small business people to have the availability of loans. You're talking about apples and oranges. Let us have our conversation about oranges right now, if you don't mind. And when we start talking about apples, then come into that conversation about apples. Right now, we talking about oranges.
Right.
And how many black businesses how we drove past today, Miss Jackson? They always boarded up.
Trying to get some soul food, all boarded up. Boarded up. That's what we're talking about. If you don't mind, we would like to have a conversation.
It's a real estate Ponzi scheme, and they've
Right.
been doing this for
That
so
we
long.
know is happening. That we know is happening.
Yes.
If you don't mind, we would like to inform the audience about what's going on in the city with black people, black, BLACK, with black people. If you don't mind,
businesses can't get funding. We can't get funding.
Yeah.
Right. We would like to talk about our reality.
You can put in 1,000 grants. You
Come
can go
on.
higher. Jay said he hired grant writers. There's people who do this.
I
for a living.
did.
And Danny wrote, yeah, and still got denied. It's not about. It's not about if it's written well. It's not about if you got everything. You've got everything. It's about them not giving. They have red line funding for us. We can't get no funding. You can't get no funding at all to build up the South Side, West Side. The reason why the South Side look like that is because they are gatekeeping the funds for us to build our community up. And you can't sit and when people say, well, you got to write these grants, Democratic Party just gave $400 billion to a bunch of illegals, and they didn't have to write one grant. They didn't have to speak English. They didn't have to speak English. They got their buildings. They got their housing. They got their businesses. They're not paying taxes. They've got new cars. They got food. They got rental assistance. They have everything for their head start, for their startup. They literally set up shop for them. They have set up shop for these people who haven't put a dime in this country, who hasn't paid a dime in taxes. And here, Mr. J is if you don't mind, if you're allowed, how much money do you think that you have spent trying to revitalize the Regal?
Over the past 12 years, I'd say I've probably put around $3.5 million.
Come on now, $3.5 million, a black man, $3.5 million clean money, and he can't get his thing open. But he can't get the Regal open.
But I can tell you what he can qualify for: shark loans. He can qualify for a shark loan that's going to make his business close down.
Delinquent taxes. They'll go find a big tax bill, put it on there. He'll pay for the taxes, and they'll still go find another tax bill to put it on there, just to drive him that he don't have no more money or to give up.
That's exactly
right. And then right here it says your aldermen and your leaders are the reason you are in the position you in. They're gatekeepers. Well, it starts there, but again, what's the common thread here? All of us me, Zoe, and Jay got multiple court cases. Why? Because it's getting tied up in court. Because the courts won't implement what they need to implement. The courts won't make these people do. The courts, the aldermen can be as corrupted as they want. But once we bring things into court, there should be some justice for us in the courts. One reason why these aldermen do the things that they do, and they do the crooked deals that they do, because they've learned now that nobody's going to stop them.
Yup.
Even if you take them to court, the judges don't rule on it, or they deny everything that you put in. It's just like everything that you put in to apply for a loan or a grant gets denied. Start noticing everything you put in the court gets denied too.
Hmm.
And it's funny people say that you keep
Come on.
voting these aldermen in. Nobody is keep voting these aldermen in. They are being selected. They are being selected by the Chicago teachers union, such as Brandon Johnson. It's a lot of illegal scheme in the courthouses that's being going on in the chambers at City Hall. So nobody is putting these aldermen in. You can't do anything about it because you can't get no justice.
No, Dave.
No. We're gonna do something about it. We're gonna do something about it.
No, Dave.
I'm talking about right now.
These people stupid. Now I'm gonna call it what it is. No, Dave. These dumb people, because it's what we're going through arguing because we're not Democrats. See, it's these dumb people who keep putting the same people in who've been selling us out for a long time. The Democrat Party, just like they mad at us, calling us coons because we wouldn't put this. We done with the fake black lady Kamala, and we voted for Trump. It's these dumb people who keep putting these people back into office and voting them back like they wanted us to vote Kamala in, who was the worst ever, and that's what they wanted us to do. It's still mad because we didn't. So no, the blame is on these, and they all, and I'm gonna say it like it is. Y'all can get me if y'all want to. They all got black face. They look like us because they refuse to educate themselves politically, and they don't care what's going on in their neighborhood. Like Jay said, and I know this to be true. If that Regal Theater was open think about, like he said, we got TikTok, we got everybody trying these little guys out here with these guns and stuff. The reason why they out here acting a fool because they trying to rap. It's all about the drill music. You diss me, I diss you. They got guns because they trying to get clout to be rappers, to be put on. Think about, like Jay said, if all these little guys and stuff like that, if we had the Regal Theater open, think about where it's at. And we allowed them to come in and showcase their talent. Every week, had talent shows like the Regal Theater had when I was younger. Showcase their talent, whether it is through rapping, through dance, through gaming. We can have where people just come watch them games. Right. Think about that. Think about all the kids, black kids, because that's in that day, that would be off the street and would be in the Regal Theater doing those activities. Think about how much that would keep them off the street and giving them something positive to do, to look forward to. And then not only that, now you can have artists to come in and maybe judge them like the Regal Theater used to do. Big artists come in, judge them. And you think all these little kids out here, these little boys that's killing, you think they're going to be trying their best to get into the Regal Theater? And then we can have, black men who to now start putting up classes to mentor these young kids. Now they don't want to be in the streets. Now that's a whole. Come on now, can you think about that?
To live for now, these kids don't have anything to live for.
That
they don't even care if they live or die.
Right. That Regal Theater would save a lot of lives, and it would bring a lot of just everything, excellence to our kids. And that's what they don't want. That's what's pissed. That's what pissed me off, man. It's strategic.
It's strategic. It's strategic. And it's unfair. And that's what I'm saying. It's unfair to water it down to it being about, well, maybe you're not presenting this right. Maybe we're not saying this right. No, it's strategic. It's strategic. Anytime that these communities are ran down to this extent, and we could be sitting in City Hall and see for 2 years, everybody just going hard about getting the immigrants housing. They got to have housing all the way to the tune of the city is in over $1 billion in debt, because this is how important it is for people to have housing. They got to have housing. And they sitting right here watching the same city, the same county break the law trying to take my house. Breaking the law to what they
says,
did to Zoe's mother's housing. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So when you have that plethora of people that were, well, that's who y'all voted for, and that's who y'all vote. You know, this at what point, first of all, I didn't vote for none of these people. Let's be crystal clear about that. But I'm still subjected to the nonsense until they get out of office.
Right.
But I want to say this for the people that did. And have acknowledged that they need to do something different. Where's the support for those who want to do something different, who want to think differently, who may have seen the error of their political or voting ways and now want to do something different? Where's the support for that? Why is this constant conversation of, yeah, well, that's what y'all voted for, that's what y'all voted for? Why can't we, mentally shift gears into, okay, we did that. There are a couple of people who did that, but the stats, the voting poll clearly showed that 38% of people in Chicago voted Republican, which was more than what has happened in ever. Or in years. And I want to believe that some of that 35% is Black, because you got 4 Black people on this line right now that was rocking with the Republicans. I can't say for you, and I'm not going to ask, I'm just making a point. If that be the case, you're telling me that for those who did make the mental shift, and I believe some of them were Black, there should be no support about that. There should be no acknowledgement of that. There should be no talk of that, no centering around that. We're just going to stay stuck in what we shouldn't have done. We're not going to look at all of what we're talking about doing right now.
Right.
And we also have a president in history that was elected to challenge the status quo.
Yes, Dave.
We cannot continuously keep, bumping our jaws, keep saying that, oh, this is what you voted for. Oh, they're not going to change. It's the whole purpose of, flipping your mindset. Chicago flip red is to change your mindset as well. Come on, people. Do y'all want to continuously keep coming outside y'all houses on the south side or west side of Chicago and continuously keep seeing the same things? I know I don't. I don't want to move up north. I love it on the south side of Chicago.
Right.
I want businesses on the south side of Chicago.
That's right.
Too.
Just like how the north side looks good, the south side could look just as good.
That's right.
All it needs is just a little bit of love. That's all it needs.
Right.
I want our Black people. I want to see the Regal Theater open. I swear, I would love to come in and just help, because I'm looking at the youth and all they doing is killing each other and the guns. I would love to see the Regal Theater open and give them something to look forward to every week, and then tell them, look, y'all, we'll give you, we'll give you a little album, whatever deal they get, whatever. Just y'all gotta put the guns down. Y'all gotta come in here. We gotta just, make some good music if y'all want to rap or things like that. I would love to see that. I would love to be a part of that and come in and maybe help the kids and do fitness programs for dads, the mothers, and the kids. Throw some workout routines and stuff there. I would love that, because that's what we need.
That's right.
And it's so sad that we as Black people would not wake up and see what's happening, because we only got a little time, y'all. I don't know if y'all understand. The Democrat Party is crashing out for these illegals. They are making it their business to try to keep them here, bankrupt the city, and trying to charge us taxes to keep them here, get them legal fees. So you're not a priority, Black people. And if you see the Hispanic neighborhoods, got all their businesses, got all their things going on. Everybody else, the Chinatown, got all their Chinese business, they people. And our Black neighborhoods, we don't own one business in our Black neighborhood.
It's horrible.
We are at a state we're in a state of critical. This is critical for Black people. If y'all don't understand, because now it's going to be Hispanics, Venezuelan, Chinatown, Indians, and all that, and Black people are going to be. I don't know what we're going to be.
I don't either. We gotta get Black focused. Now we understand that in order for us to accomplish the things that we need, we know that we have to interact with others. Nobody's saying that that's not true. Of course you do, but we have to have our Black economic survival as a priority.
Yes,
in our minds, just like everybody else. Their economic survival is a priority in their mind.
Yes,
the Asians going to sit down. They'll sit down and they'll do business with somebody white or somebody Jewish. But you better believe maintaining their Asian community is their priority. The Hispanics, they sit down. They doing business with white people, Black people, Asians. But you better believe their priority is their Hispanic community. Black people need to do the same thing. We need to learn how to, when we sit down at the table with others, we're our priority. That there's no shame, there's no harm. We haven't done a bad thing by making ourselves a priority. We don't have to hitch our wagon to everybody. Stop with the black and brown. Stop. Nobody talk. Look, the only thing we use for with other groups is our statistics. You can't even get a police shooting and see the brown stand with the Black victims. When they do a press conference because somebody Black then got shot, the Hispanics don't be in the crowd standing with them.
So that's right.
Again, I don't see the Hispanic alderman standing up on City Hall floor talking about give Black people their money. I don't see it. I just don't get it. I don't know what this is that we don't know how to take care of ourselves anymore and to make ourselves a priority anymore. I don't know what this is, except for playing it safe. I mean, you know, our age bracket coming into, you know, growing up right after the civil rights movement, and, you know, you getting, you know, integration and all that for the first time. So I think that, you know, maybe we did have a somewhat of a lackadaisical attitude because the fights weren't so prevalent right then. So it was like we had an opportunity to breathe, if you will, because for all practical purposes, we was coming in at the tail end of civil rights. So the 70s were all these programs that was for us, and we, you know, when we started going to the schools, to still had the resources that white kids still had in them. That's why we still had trades in the schools and all that at that time, you know. But now we got to look at where we are right now. And where we are right now is in economic trouble. Where we are right now is in a bunch of deserted neighborhoods. Our rights are being violated all over again. And you know, like I know, we're not going to get from point A to point B by being nice. Us being nice has what? Look, let me tell you something. You ain't found a nicer group of Negroes than the Black Caucus that's on Pennsylvania Avenue. There's some nice Negroes right there. But what have they gotten for us?
Nothing.
What about them? You ain't seen a nicer Negro or a pseudo nicer Negro than the Obamas. What they do for us, except for got that Obama Center over there that have displaced tons and tons of people. And
making it hard for you to get more funding because they want that Regal Theater because of that Obama Center.
Come on, talk now, Zoe. Talk now, Zoe. Why they want it? Why they want it?
For that Obama Center.
Say it, so.
That's the problem. Same like with Miss
That's the
Jessica,
reason why that
South
zoning,
Shore. They
the
yeah.
same as South Shore. That's the reason why that zoning suddenly changed without explanation that you can't figure out why.
They trying to take that. That's right.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
Excellent point, Joey. Excellent point.
yeah. And the you know, the people that you know and that know of your story, 'cause everybody knows about your story, just like everybody knows about our story. And Obama knows what you got going on, just like Obama knows about what we got going on and how we
And
always
all the
talk
people
about
that got displaced because of his
displaced,
thing.
and nobody's saying anything and doing anything because it is a real estate scam. It's a real estate scheme, and they're going to act like, and at the end of the day, it's get yours, and I'm gonna get you, and that's it. So it's like, what?
In fact, when the DNC was here, what Obama, Oprah, and Michelle tell us with us getting displaced, what they say, we ought to have joy. Joy. That's what they told us.
These are the same people that sat and talk. I got arrested down at the DNC, but they was in there lying, and they was saying all this stuff about Trump and how how he's trying to get over, and he's gonna make sure his friends are rich and all that. Why these people are rich, making everybody homeless? They have built the homeless rate here. It's getting kind of scary. It's getting California level.
That's it.
Getting California level. So with people who are talking about affordable housing, because you really want to do affordable housing, they don't want you to really do affordable housing. Affordable housing is a money laundering scheme.
Yeah.
They don't care about affordable housing. They don't want to do affordable housing. They want this. They want this chaos. I watched for 2 years a man come down to City Hall with his daughter and his wife and would not help him find a home. Now they'll give him shelter, but would not help him find a home. But after he talks about what he's got going on and how they could please help him find rental assistance, because at that time they had unlimited rental assistance for the illegals, so they could have found some rental assistance for this family. But after they would listen to him talk, listen to his little girl talk, listen to his wife talk, they would ignore them and talk about how much money that they need for affordable housing.
Girl, you better shut up.
I wish she would, but is she telling the truth? And then what about this dude, Zoe, the one that come down there, that's the black contractor that be talking about how he want jobs for the youth all the time?
For 2 years too.
How you doing, Zoe? Yeah, and see, because y'all don't know these boys that we talk to, and we trying to get them off the street. And if y'all just help us get these contracting licenses, well, we can give all them jobs. How long we been looking at that dude come down there? And unless they paying him,
I got 50 lots right here. If you just give me these 50 lots right here, you know what I'm saying? I got the money. We just need to, and they just look at him, ignore him. They don't, and then go in there and talk about how they need money for the black and brown communities, for job creations, for affordable housing, while you're listening to a black family and then a black contractor come in there and they have yet to help neither one of them. Well, the man, Michael, he had to go find. He finally has a place now, but it wasn't through them. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't through them. And when it comes to the black contractor, we'll see him on the 15th coming down there begging again for some more contracts that he's never going to get, because that's not what they are. That's not their agenda. They don't have, there's not nothing for, they want to say so bad, like, we ain't got nothing for you Negroes. You already know how this go. Like, our community's been looking like this for a reason. Girl, what are you talking about?
Y'all don't see what's going on, stupid.
Yeah, like, we're not, why you think I'm gonna give you, I understand that you lost $3 million trying to get the Regal together, but nah, this was promised to somebody else.
Yeah,
this was promised to somebody else. Like, what you think? You think you gonna do this? When Obama Center is coming here? Nah, this is University of Chicago, baby. We giving the Regal Theater to the University of Chicago. on. See, they gave it to this lady, Regina, and Regina fumbled it. She fumbled it bad. She fumbled it terribly. They gave her finance, everything, and she decided to steal the money, and now she got convicted 5 years, and her husband did like 2 years, something like that. Police officers, chiefs, you know. So I mean, at the end of the day, they're addicted to corruption. Now, is there anything that's outside of corruption? No. And so you can't, and they expect you not to fight back. They expect you just to be like, man, this is just what Chicago do, or they've normalized, man, you know, we can't do nothing for us, or it's designed like this. Nah, y'all gonna give us our money. It ain't no talking. It's not no, please, sir, can I please get my money? No, we're gonna start talking about these laws that you breaking. You gotta start coming down. I mean, I know you're very busy, Mr. J, but Mr. J, you need to get down there and start talking about them laws that's being broken.
Yeah.
That is crazy how she's straight violating her oath. Michelle Harris should be ashamed of herself and anybody else that's on these lawsuits that you're suing. Instead of working with you, collaborating with you, trying to find some people, even trying to be, I mean, she helping other people be part owners in her ward with certain things. Even trying to be part owner with you, trying to work something out, trying to save that. The fact that she don't want to do it and have the means to do it is evil.
It's evil.
And the fact that she lives in South Shore.
And knows about that. I'm pretty sure she born like 1927. So I know that she went to the Regal a few times and saw the Supremes and saw a couple of people.
Yes, she did. It's no way. Listen, you all need to be calling Michelle. First of all, Michelle Harris has to go. All these aldermen have to go. So we got to vote them out. But you all should be calling Michelle Harris' office and saying, Michelle Harris, we demand the Regal Theater to be open for our community and our kids, especially if you live in that ward. You should be saying, Michelle Harris, we demand our kids and that Regal Theater to be open because we need our kids to get off the street.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So why we need that? That's a landmark. We need that theater to be open for our neighborhood and our kids. That's what you all should be doing because she getting out of there anyway. And y'all should be saying, and you vote for those bogus budgets when you getting up out of here. It's over for us,
and you should be demanding that TIF money to be used in any of those grants and stuff. What you got to do is you got to start organizing with like-minded people and start putting pressure on them. And then, like I said, you got to use the incoming administration, federal administration, for some pushback.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
So what is the next step for you, Mr. J?
So, like I said, we've had to basically pivot and circumvent a lot of these funding sources that should have been made available to us through the city to get this project open a lot more quickly. But we're at a point now where we're working with our architects and our engineers to get the building listed on the National Historic Register with the National Park Service. That's going to open up a lot of federal funding for us in terms of tax credits that will, like I said earlier, enable us to sort of bootstrap ourselves into the development. And I'm hopeful that will help us gain steam and eventually garner support, because once people see the federal government putting dollars into this project for the city, then it's going to really cause people to ask the question of why is that? It doesn't make any sense. And then looking at the history of the lack of support and the lack of investment and the sabotaging, frankly, of this project over the past 10 to 12 years is just outrageous. And I hope that we get some wind behind ourselves once we get past this national register process and get some capital into the project.
Yes, 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 Jay. Yes, yes, Jay. Jay,
And I appreciate you all support as well.
no, we get you, because see, it would benefit us, and it would benefit us as a community if that gets open. I see the vision I see for that is unbelievable. So that would be a blessing, because to get these kids off the street. Because I just remember when I was younger, we used to look forward to going. We used to catch that bus and go up to the Regal Theater, and we used to love them boys on the stage. They used to be singing and dancing. We used to be getting our little routine. I couldn't dance, but we used to be trying to get our routine together. The schools would come there. See, it was everything to us. And just to see what these kids are involved in, this is something they really need. I can see it.
That's right.
And I just believe that with Chicago Fifth Red, even if we can get that open, we can do something really great together. Like, first of all, we got to get another alderman. Michelle Harris has to go this term, you all. And we got to get an alderman in. And the first thing we need to make sure that alderman, if the Regal is not open, if they willing to work to get this Regal Theater open.
And contact on the federal level.
That's right.
What is that? The community of, what is it? Planning and development.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get the Trump administration to make some, to pull down a hatchet on them.
Yeah.
To do an investigation as to why this is that this Regal Theater cannot open up.
Yes. Yes.
What's the hold up? What happened with this redistricting? See, stop playing. Stop playing.
Yes. Yes. That's all.
Have you reached out to Kwame Raoul?
Oh, definitely. I've written letters to everyone.
I know you did.
Letters to everyone from the governor's office.
They say
to
find
the city.
Kwame. They say I'm fine Kwame.
Can't nobody find.
Yeah, have you seen Kwame? Kwame Raoul. That's a whole nother.
That's a whole other topic.
But, so have you done any press conferences?
I haven't, and I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. But I suspect this year we're probably going to have to start letting people know about what's happened, because things have just, really spiraled out of control with the rumors and the abuse for this project. So any support that the community can provide to us and helping pull that kind of stuff together, we're wide open to suggestions. But at this time, we've only released material intermittently and periodically on our Twitter and our Instagram. Of course, the website has our information, and the lawsuits are available, but most folks don't even know we have a website. So it's been difficult to get the information out and really tell people the story. It's sort of already gelled, and people have this idea in their mind of what's going on with this project when they really have no idea all of the work that we put into it. So we'll be beating the street a little bit more actively this year and making sure those communications get out effectively to the public.
Well, you should, once the change of administration happens at the federal level, then you need to start doing your press conferences and whatnot.
Then go down to the city hall and put Michelle Harris on Front Street in front of all those and that mayor.
That too. Absolutely that. And you might say, well, you want to be nice. You don't want to ruffle their feathers. Well, I know you seen that movie 12 Years a Slave. Oh, no, really? Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
All right. And remember the lady who kids got sold from her and she used to cry all the time? Okay, and remember, oh boy, that scene when they sitting on the porch at that house, and remember he tell her, why don't you stop all that crying?
Yeah.
Don't you see you agitating Massa? Don't you see that's getting on his nerve? You making stuff harder for you. Remember he told her that. And remember what she told him? That's what I want to do. I want to agitate him. I want to get on his nerve because he done took my kids from me. and you being good and you doing everything you say, are you in a better situation than me? And then he find out when he got into it with that white man, they hung him and whooped him too. Just like they had sold off her kids. The biggest mistake a Negro can make is falling for that saying, what is it, what they tell you when we growing up to make you act right? What they say, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. But as you get older, you start understanding it ain't about what you say or how you said it as much as who said it.
Right.
Yeah, it's to the
You
point. I'm
understand
like,
that?
hey, I'm nice. I've been nice. My mother was nice. My mother was.
The 12 years
Trying
of
to explain
slavery.
it. Yeah, ain't no nice no more. You can't be nice.
Think for that
You're dealing
scene.
with criminals. You're
And she
dealing
was
with
nice.
Right, think for that scene.
Tony Preckwinkle lied to her in her face, and she was being nice to her.
Come on. And I was saying, she laughed in my face. One of the aldermen, Frank Aguilar, not alderman, commissioner, Frank Aguilar came up to me. I didn't even know that man. He came up to me and told me that he had looked up my case and that he saw that everything I said was saying was true. And that for sure they was messing up and messing up my mother's estate. And that he was concerned because it was the issue of my generational wealth. And he see that that's what they're doing. So when I talked to him in a conversation about it, he told me, well, why don't I try being nice to Toni Preckwinkle when I talk to her? That if I be nice, that is what he told. That if I be nice, that I probably could get further along with her. So I said, all right. I said, now me personally, I don't see how it's gonna make no difference. I don't see how you be nice to people who's stealing from you. But because, like they say, desperate time calls for desperate measure. Okay, so I went to the podium. And I addressed Toni Preckwinkle. And I told her that her commissioner had told me to talk to her nice and that maybe things could get straightened out. She laughed. She laughed. So as far as I'm concerned, I had to let it rip and bring it back to how it usually is. Because I don't understand, because I never used no cuss word to that lady. I never called out her name. I just simply go to the podium and tell them about the fraud and perjury that they're committing and telling her about how as the president of Cook County, she over all these people and she need to get her people. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But but when I tried to be nice, like what her commissioner told, she laughed. So between that happened with me, with Toni Preckwinkle, and that 12 years of slave scene, I really don't see what the benefit is of, being a certain way. I think that you need to come with the truth.
Yeah.
I think you need to have your evidence, and I think you need to have the Holy Spirit with you and then move how you need to move. Now, that's what I think.
Right. Yeah. Because the revolution is being televised and streamed live every day.
Every day. Every day.
This is because our ancestors have done all the groundwork, has done everything. We're now witnessing the party that is supposed to be for us, and we've given 90% of our vote to these people who are breaking the U.S. Constitution, the federal laws, the civil rights, and they are blaming Trump.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And they blaming Trump.
Yeah, you're dealing with people there. Me and Miss Jessica been down there for 2 years, and instead of the 20 black aldermen, the 50 aldermen, but we'll just say the 20 black aldermen, instead of them in the black caucus, figuring out the solution to get us to not come back down there and settle our cases, they will ask us, how much are we getting paid by the Republican Party?
Ain't that something?
Like, so, like That's how far gone they are. Like the fact that they violated the Fifth Amendment, the fact that they knocked my family's building down, the fact that my mother has a federal lawsuit, she has all the evidence, she has everything to show that they're wrong, she has all the fraudulent documents that they put in there, she has a trust, she has a deed, she has everything, and the only thing they could think of is how much is Republicans paying you to keep coming down here? What?
You see how idiotic that thinking is? That you, based on your experience, based on what you're seeing, based on what's happening in your life, based on the reality of your community, that in and of itself is not enough to make you move different politically.
Right.
No, this is happening because someone's paying us. But they're not paying us to the point where they'll take care of our cases. They're just paying us to show up enough to show up to City Hall and be on the mic for 3 minutes. See how silly that is?
Right.
When anybody who Trump has hooked up, because I'm 62 years old, so I know what I've heard of Trump over the years. Anybody who he hook up, he be hooking them up. And they wouldn't be getting like, $750 for their Metro day pass.
Right.
Because and we eat after we leave out the meetings. Okay, so that's what we get paid.
They owe me $14,000 in lunch reimbursement.
Right. That's how Trump be getting down.
Yeah.
We going down to city. I want you to think about that. We're going down to City Hall every day, every time it's a meeting, and we on that mic for 3 minutes, and we talking about how we want Trump to come in and help us with our situations. Right. And before I pay, because they end up getting him 35 to 38% of the local vote here in Chicago, which was historical, and he ended up giving getting us, getting him in office ultimately. And you're telling me that I pay for that. I pay for that.
All right.
With my Metro pass. Okay.
Because see, that's how the Democrat Party look at us. They look at us as stupid. How dare you? Y'all been doing this for 90 years. What? 50, 60 years, giving up 95% of your vote. How dare you say something? How dare you think? Right. How dare you start to open up your mind and see what's going on? And not only that, we brought all these illegals in and papered them up in front of y'all dummies. How dare you have a nerve to see what's going on and speak up? Shut up and get back in your place and shut up. And if you do, you must be getting paid, because I know y'all ain't got enough sense to think for yourself and say and see what's going on and speak up for yourself. I know y'all ain't got enough sense for that. So somebody got to be paying y'all.
Exactly.
That's how low they think of Black people. That's how low. I'm serious. It's what they think of us, and they show us every time. Yep. It's ridiculous.
So I say, Jay, gather up your people. Gather up your people. Okay, then you come to City Hall, let Michelle Harris and City Hall know what it is. And then between now and, like I said, a change of administration, start thinking about how you're going to put what you need to put to the new urban and planning and development regime that's coming in on the federal level. That's what you need to do.
That's right.
And call the Department of Justice in to look at why your cases are sitting in court like that.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, you got to play hardball. You got to play hardball. They are. For them to get that mapped and all that, that's hardball. For them to stop you from getting funding that you need, that's hardball. They playing hardball with you. And I bet you some of them Black that's playing hardball with you.
A lot of
them. But your Black self, you say you're going to be delicate. But they playing hardball with you. But you going to be delicate. Okay.
Right.
No, we need that Regal Theater open.
That's a very good idea. It's a very good idea, and it's something that the community need. I mean, walking around South Shore and everything is boarded up, everything is collapsed, everything is deserted. That in and of itself is mental trauma.
That is.
Yep.
That is.
Depression.
Yeah.
Because that business, you know, with that Regal Theater being open, you know, those tax dollars will be reinvested back into the communities and into the schools in the neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
And it'll start bringing people back to that neighborhood, you know, and it's a lot of advantages.
Absolutely.
Tons and tons of advantages to it being open. That's why they're trying to keep you from opening. They don't want us to have nothing.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Okay, but at this point, it's not as much as about what they don't want us to have, as much as we know that we do deserve.
We deserve.
And as much as what we know that we're willing to fight for to get.
Absolutely.
Because the fact of them not wanting us to have anything, that started as early as 16, 19.
Right.
Right. That ain't a new, you know what I'm saying? That ain't a new ideology. That black people shouldn't have anything. That black people should be subservient. That black people should be broke. That black people should be down and out. That black people should be barely making it. That's not a new phenomenon. So it's time for us to stop looking at what they trying to do and look at the amount of knowledge and resources and the fact that we got the laws in place and start focusing on what we can do.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So show us, get your people together and show us what you can do. And we're going to be right there with you, rocking right there with you.
Sounds good.
Because hold on, because so Jerald, because like we can do a press conference, we can even do it in front of the Regal. You know what I'm saying? We could
it needs to be in front of the Regal for sure.
We could be in front of Regal and talking about it. And like they said, you can come down there, man, get on that mic, tell people, let people know what's going on and things like that. So those are the things we can start doing, like implementing. And like and like Miss Jackson said, that we can start definitely, since we got this new administration, you know, like you were saying with the federal, going to the federal, we can start that. So I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, and since Michelle Harris, you know, she went and bought some gifts, you know, in Walmart.
What's it?
She might be in a giving mood, and you know, if you might go down there and ask her, hey, you know, can we sit down? Can we collaborate? She may have a change. You know, she may, because I know she's watching right now, so she may have a change of heart and may be like, you know what? Let's keep the Regal open. You know, let's keep the Regal open. Let's you know what? Because you're saying you're coming with good intentions. You don't want to beat. You don't want to have animosity. You want to have all that. I'm past all of that. Okay, I'm past all of that because I know for sure my alderman suffers from everything that you could think of, and he is a liar. He's a terrible. I can never talk to him. The animosity for him is through the roof. Okay, but you still may have hope for Michelle Harris, and she may do the right thing because she's on her way out.
She's out of there.
So she needs to do something good before she goes on her way out.
And then you can let her know that this is quote unquote a negotiating tip. She can save that Regal Theater and possibly save her seat.
Because we definitely letting and people, please, if Michelle Harris is in your district, please call that office tomorrow and let her demand that Regal Theater, y'all want that Regal Theater open because it'll help your community a lot. So please start calling her and letting her know.
It will bring money to the community. It will bring money to the city. It would bring all the money that it can bring. Like they not even understanding comedy. You know.
Oh man,
Robin Harris performed at the Regal. You know, when the night he passed away, I had a heart attack.
Yes.
You know, like that is the history. Robert Harris is one of the most funniest comedians to this day. You know, so it's just like we got to save the culture with or without Michelle Harris. But we're hoping that Michelle Harris will do the right thing before the feds come, before she gets up out her seat, because they're coming regardless. Okay,
they come regardless.
And they're coming regardless. Like I said, the revolution will be is televised and live streaming right now as we speak. Okay, the 120 people that sat and watched this consistently, and the other ones that are watching, it's 120 people watching, but it's probably 10 people in each thing watching with them, okay? Because that's how serious the Regal is. Everybody knows about this. A lot of white people didn't even know on the north side, knew that there was a lawsuit out against Michelle Harris and some other people as well, but the Alderman Michelle Harris. People don't even know that. When I first found out about the lawsuit, I was told by an alderman, "Oh, that's a hoax. That's not true." I'm like, "Nah, it's true." I said, "I looked it up. I know how this works. I'm also suing the city, so I know how lawsuits work." So, and someone asked, they said, "You guys can you can download all of the lawsuits on AvalonRegal.com."
That's right, AvalonRegal.com. There's a section that says download files at the top of the page, and all of those lawsuits are available to view online and download.
And I also dropped the link in the chat, y'all. So
Jay, what's your tell us too where we can follow you, because plus everything.
Yes, thank you. Yes, absolutely. Our Instagram is at Avalon Regal. That's spelled AvalonRegal. And then our website is the same, www.avalonregal.com. And then you can visit us online and sign up to our website as well to receive updates.
So y'all, please, let's go. We need we need everybody's support. We need everybody to come in because we're trying to save this and get this Regal Theater open, because we really want to see our community flourish. Not what people's talking about. We really want to see it happen.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you all's support as well.
Well,
I think that Common got that art gallery right there on 74th and East End. Now, most of the time when I walk past there, I really don't see nothing happening, but it looked like it's still like that stuff. But yeah, it's right there on 75th and 74th and East End, something like that. Yeah,
see, that'd be great to build up over there. That'd be amazing. You know what I'm saying? And like
Michelle Harris is an AKA today. And today is the Noop Foundation. The Noops is their Founders Day today. So that's also Kwame Raoul. He is a Noop. So I hope while he is stomping and celebrating his Noop Founders Day today, that he will answer my email about
doing all that dancing, doing up.
Yeah. So while you are barking and stomping, please take the time to look at my stuff, Mr. Noop. Mr. Noop. I had no problem with none of the D9. You understand? Divine 9, do what y'all do. But y'all are in these positions. Y'all are super proud to be in these fraternities and sororities and go to these HBCU colleges and rep that stuff and all that. But then when it comes to Negro problems, it's like, you're doing too much now. You're asking for too much now. You want me to fix your problem? Like, yeah.
Right. Actually help. Yeah.
Help. Yeah. I'm paying your salary. Yeah.
Because the only thing he want to do is shuck and jive all day instead of actually helping y'all with y'all cases and holding these judges accountable.
That's right, Dave. Yup.
So we all have a situation. I know that with me, Miss Jessica, And you, Jay, you're waiting for what with your? I'm waiting for an answer for my case. My judge to give us an answer. As far as yours, are you guys following more motions, or are you waiting for an answer as well?
So we're waiting for an answer. We had to refile several of the counts that survived, and I think we have refiled on 4 or 5 of those counts as of about a few weeks ago. So we're waiting on a status date to hear how the judge is going to rule on the refiling.
How long you been waiting?
We just refiled actually, like I said, several weeks ago. And of course, this is the second amended complaint with the counts that we brought against the city and the other defendants regarding the actions they've taken. And you know, these are slow moving trains, so we presume that we'll have some updates hopefully by the summertime on that.
That's what I'm learning too. I'm learning that that they know you have a case, they know it's good if you have an attorney, they will amend the complaint. They want you to amend the complaint, to keep amending the complaint. Like, the laws are there. They broke the laws. This is the evidence to show that they broke the laws. It's in the right jurisdiction. It's all that. They be wanting to add extra stuff when it's already in there, because they act like the government officials cannot lose when they're breaking the law. Like, they're breaking the law. That's just what it is. I mean, I understand that y'all hate that they're breaking the law. I know that Michelle Harris been in there before, with AOL dial-up was popping.
Right.
But now it's social media, and now we everything is coming out. Everything is coming out. So it's a little bit different now. So how many complaints do you want us to amend, Your Honor? How many complaints do we have to amend, Your Honor? They broke the law. The law is broken. They broke all the laws. They violated oath. They need to be in jail. This is like they need to really be in jail. It's really criminal at this point. Criminal. Like, you don't want to settle the civil case, but you also don't want to do a criminal case. And this is like it's the same. Because it's about real estate. It's just like how the mortgage crisis are. You understand? They get all these people. They steal their they steal their homes. They'll settle a lawsuit. It'll be a class action suit. They never get their houses back. They get a little bit of money, but then when it comes to these executives at these banks, they don't get locked up. Like, you just displaced millions of people over y'all mortgage frauds, over your mortgage scams. Like, and then the Department of Justice will go in, Wells Fargo, for instance, they'll fine them $2-3 billion, and then they go back another 4 years. The next Democrat president get in there. Here come another mortgage crisis. That's right. It's about to be one now. Mm-hmm. You understand? It's about to be one now. Now they're gonna put it on Trump. They're gonna try to put it on Trump because the homelessness. They set it up for it now. Yeah, because the homelessness. We're at over 18% of homelessness in just Chicago. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, I told you, Northwestern Hospital, they've literally turned the emergency room in the hallway, in the waiting area, of a shelter. That is legit a shelter. Yep. Northwestern Hospital. Yep. Northwestern, because it's a real estate grab. It's a real estate scam. They don't care about affordable housing. They don't want to house these people. And they showed you that last year when they were trying to build concentration camps in Brighton Park. Right. You know what I'm saying? They really thought that was gonna make it. And it was if them people didn't push back in Brighton Park, that's right. They would have had those. They would have had those tents, and if them tents still would have been there right now. Yeah. And they would have made. They're probably on a 4th tent city. We probably
shout out to Jacqueline and Lorraine. Shout out to Jacqueline and Lorraine. They did because the city kept saying that it wasn't, that the soil. That the soil was fine. And Jacqueline, I think that's her name, and Lorraine went out there with some little homemade dirt kit and that's how they found out that the dirt was contaminated, toxic. And they went and told the media and stuff about it. That's what made them stop.
Right.
They been knew that was tough. Yeah,
They
Right,
knew
because
all
they had
that a long
tried
time.
to
They spent
build.
$1 million with Garda World to build that because that was going to be the test. That was going to be the test. If that would have made it, we would have brought, honestly, it would have been Tent City and South Shore, Tent City, Grisham, Roseland. We would West Side. It would have been 10 cities all over the place.
All over the place. All over the place. Yeah. Yeah. So like I say, shout out to Loran and Jacqueline.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think this was a good.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you taking this time to really come on here and talk to us about it, and you know, the end of it, your side of it, to really understand, to break it down. And I get it from the economic side. However, you gonna have, like, we dealing with devils, Jay, right? These are devils, right? And what you gonna have to do is, like what I had to tell Tony Dwayne Preckwinkle that day. I told her that you have to, in order to fight the city in Cook County, Chicago, you have to turn into a devil and a gangster disciple to fight these people. They take it there, you got to take it to hell. And you just pray about it when you get home. You cannot talk. There is no talking to these people. These people are criminals. These people are thieves. These people they don't have no loyalty to the community. They'll never have loyalty to the community. They'll never have loyalty to their constituents. They'll never have loyalty to Black business owners and Black entrepreneurs. They will never have that because they sold their soul and sold their vote a long time ago. She sold, Michelle Harris sold her vote a long time ago when she had that other hairstyle.
I mean, she has so many, we don't know. She
don't care about they say she about to sell out Peel Hill.
See?
What?
Yeah, like that's what she on. She don't care about nobody but herself. This is the same woman who took money for covering up Laquan McDonald's shooting too. Like she's just not a good person.
Yeah,
she's not a good person. So it's no point of trying to reason with her, trying to reason with the people she worked for, her people. It's no point. She's riding until the feds come and pick her up at her house, and I want to be there. I want to be there when they take her out.
Yes, me too. Me too.
You silly. Well, Jay, this was a pleasure.
Yeah.
No, Zoe.
The pleasure was all mine.
This was a pleasure, and we'll be in touch. Let's stay in touch and let's plan on where we go from here.
Yeah, Jay, did you want to say something real quick, or did you?
I just want to drop the website again. If everybody could go to AvalonRegal.com and follow us on Instagram at AvalonRegal. On IG, that's also our Twitter handle at Avalon Regal, and we'll see you on the internet.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
You gotta raise some hell, Jay.
I hear you. I will. I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, that's 2025. Happy 2025.
That's
this
right.
Is go time. This is go time right here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Great show, Jay. We'll be in touch, Jay.
Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
See y'all.
I'm here. We still here. All right. I'm still here. I appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe. Let everybody know about this special live that we did. And I hope that you learned something. I hope that you are learning something. And please understand that we are dealing with a real estate scam in our communities. Ski-wee. Yeah, right. But yeah, we're dealing with a real estate scam in our communities, and it's not going to stop until we put a stop to it. So Please understand that. Please know that. Please start doing your research. Please look up, y'all, if you guys have wills, your trust. Make sure you have wills. Make sure you have trust. Make sure that they have not tried to put no crazy delinquent, crazy tax bills on your property, on your family's property, and just check, because these are some evil people. They have learned how to continue this real estate scam for the longest, and it's scary. It's scary because you're watching it play out, and there's a lot of people that are scared to speak up. And that's not how this works. So until we get legislation, which is coming soon, you guys got to really stay up on your stuff and fight for what's yours. Please fight for what's yours. If you don't fight for what's yours, then there's no point, honestly, of just anything. Like everybody else fighting but us. We continue to allow this stuff to happen because we just complacent. We have to stop being complacent. Please stop being complacent. Please stop being complacent. Please start demanding what is yours. Please. Thank you. Peace.